Hey everyone, this is Andrew Kissin, Senior Marketing Manager with Zahn Dental. We're here with Judy Fishman, CEO of LMT Communications. Judy, a couple months ago was Chicago Midwinter 2020. Everyone, suppliers, customers, industry experts, were super excited about where the industry was heading. You had the transition of analog to digital really starting to build and develop around dentures and removables. Where have you seen through your surveys, you just came out with an April survey, where would you see where the optimism was in February with where we are today from some of the feedback from the surveys and just the industry as a whole from LMT?
I guess I would say that besides the obvious, oh my godness of what's going on in the world, there's a humongous sense of frustration and disappointment because March was such a terrific month for so many laboratories. And yes, as you said, the show was crazy hopping this year, record attendance again, and everything was just looking fabulous. And then it just crashed. For the laboratory community in particular, however, because March was such a terrific month and business work was coming in like crazy, this strangely gave laboratories an opportunity to finish the cases at a little bit more of a leisurely pace, examine their processes, do some deep cleaning, consider lean solutions and disinfectant solutions, making sure that work that they're getting from dentists was going to be coming in a cleaned up way. So that survey reflected an optimism that we weren't expecting or prepared for because, as you know, when the magazine started doing surveys 35 years ago, there was so much negativity. It was overwhelming. And we would report and try to always look at the bright side, but it was very difficult. Now, we've never been more proud of our community than we are right now. The people who were able to jumped right into the fray and started retooling to produce PPEs as best they could. And those who couldn't put their employees on a furlough or allowed them to get unemployment so they could get the extra $600, which was good for them. Kept a skeleton crew, got the work out. And things are seeming to move along. Kind of a wonderful happiness among the misery.
How important do you think it will continue to be for dental laboratories to not only disinfect and have their own protocols in place for when impressions and cases come in, but really being able to communicate that to a dental practice, to their current accounts, and really potentially to patients as the dental work starts to come back and patients start to maybe ask the question of what are the procedures and what are the disinfecting protocols taking place?
It's an understatement of how important it is. What's more important is that the dental office is going to have to clean up its act and send cleaner impressions and cleaner work to the laboratory. The good news, of course, is that so much is able to be done digitally that if this had to happen, we have, thank God, the internet to keep us as a functioning and connecting society. And the work can be done more cleanly because it can all be done remotely. I do know, that labs that did not have a lot of gowns or protective devices at the time, or dental offices that didn't have protective clothing before, are the ones who were disadvantaged because it's needed by the medical community, so they're going to face a shortage. But everybody else who has the equipment is kind of all set to go forward. I think that, we already know that shade taking is probably not going to be happening for a while. So that's going to have to be something that the dentist can do, and labs can do it send them the best way to take a shade. I don't think that labs are going to be very eager to do chairside assistance right now. But I think that they are going to be in a position to call the shots a little bit better with their clients. They're going to be able to say when I can have the case back. And they're going to be able to say, you need to pay me 50% now when I take the prescription from you and 50% at delivery, maybe even before delivery. There was some discussion about this on the dental technicians page on Facebook about how to handle billing. I thought that was really very interesting.
Judy, it's been a couple months now where a lot of us are working remote, working from home. I know you're down in Florida right now. How has it been to lead an organization where the entire team has really gone through a digital transition from working in the offices to working remote? How are you staying connected? How's the LMT team doing throughout all of this?
Very interesting. We just sent the May issue up to the printer, so that makes number 2 issues that we produced remotely as a team, and we're pretty impressed with the way that it worked. We were able to do that because we have a shared drive, and we're able to all plug into that and share files. And so these are the first 2 issues that we've ever proofread entirely on the screen instead of printing it out and passing it around. So I think that, like it's going to be for many laboratories, our systems that are going forward are going to have changed. We are not going to the office. 2 or 3 people go in a week at different times to get supplies. Kate goes in because she has to do the billing and she has to do the ad production and she has to get the mail and make deposits, thank goodness, because business is way down like it is for everybody else.
Some states are starting to reopen. Some dental practices are starting to reopen, which for the dental lab industry really means slowly but steadily more and more labs across the U.S. will start to reopen. What kind of advice or recommendations do you have for dental technicians and dental laboratories as they go back to work in their dental laboratories?
I think everybody should look themselves in the mirror and ask them what's the purpose of them being here on Earth. What is their purpose for being on Earth? And at what price freedom? Is it freedom from something or freedom to do something? Because now we are all in a place where what we want for our freedom is necessarily going to affect what somebody else's freedoms are. Because you can sneeze on somebody and kill them, in a sense. So there's an awful lot of what would be the word? False bravado among people who think that they can escape this virus and that it's only for grandmas, which would be me, and I can be killed because I'm not necessary anymore. That's how you would have it if you were to read some of the news that comes out of people's protests. So I think that that's not out there. There's a lot of it in our own community. I see it regularly, hate on Facebook from my industry friends. And you gave me the license by asking me this question to say that it's ugly, it's hate, it's not love. And I think that if you look in the mirror, what you're going to come to recognize, our purpose in life is to love one another, unconditional love and goodness, and not evil and not hate.
Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us. Nobody really knows where we're heading, but as an industry, we're really in this together. And it's important that at times like this that we can stay united and move forward together. So really appreciate the time, and I hope you and your family stay safe.
Thanks, Andrew.